level, and we just go straight into a boss battle. Back to the Technodrome, which is apparently large enough to house the Statue of Liberty. That is one large Technodrome. And this was definitely released around the time of the second movie, because Super Shredder, it was definitely inspired by Super Shredder in the actual movie. I mean, it's a cool design, so of course they'd want to use it as the final boss. But honestly, Super Shredder is insanely easy. It's basically a waiting game. Anytime he turns red, he's going to shoot flames across the ground. When he turns green, he shoots a one-hit kill, a flame ball that turns you into a little turtle, and you basically lost a life. And then he has a third attack, which he hasn't done yet, which is ice. And he shoots ice up into the air, which I guess that's useful if you happen to jump into it, but it's kind of a waste of an attack. But as you can see, I'm not even bothering to attack him when he's doing his fire, because you have to be behind him, and if I don't have a chance of getting behind him at that point when he releases the fire, I'm probably going to get my toes burned. So I'm waiting for either the green fireball of death or the blue icicles, and that will be the time I attack him when he's in the middle of doing those two attacks. If he's doing flames, I'm not even going to bother, so I'm just going to wait out my turn. And that's really all there is to this fight. Hard mode, he just does it faster. I mean, he just goes about doing everything faster. But the technique still remains the same. You wait until he either does the ice, or he does the green fireball of death, and hit him right as soon as those attacks are let loose. And you basically beat Super Shredder, even hard mode. He's not that hard of a final boss. And hooray, you've saved the Statue of Liberty. Cowabunga. You traveled all the way back and forth through time to do it, but by golly, you've done it. And since I've completed the game on normal mode, I do not get my true ending. They totally said, F you, player, you did a great job beating the game, but guess what? You're still not getting your ending. Defeat the hard mode, and then only then will you be a true ninja. And hard mode is, as it says, everything is faster, hurts more, and there's different variations of enemies. But there's my game time, less than a half hour, and I'll see you all in the next play series. This was fun. Haha, everybody. I beat it in hard, not with no deaths, because that's, like, crazy. But I did pretty good. And here's the ending for hard mode. Woohoo! This is just random guy jumping up in the air. But yeah, this is the ending you get for hard mode. You get to see the Statue of Liberty get returned. Splinter apparently is out in the open and no one's screaming. And you actually get the staff credits. So the staff has denied themselves credit for the game until you beat hard mode. So you have no idea who made this game until you actually beat hard mode. And for whatever reason, here is the, what is this, the turtle blimp? Why this was never used in the actual game as either part of a stage level or part of a bonus stage, I will have no idea. Because they included it in the ending, so the designers were at least aware that there was a turtle blimp that the Turtles had access to, that Donatello was the spearhead for the project, but they never actually used it in the actual game. So, wasted potential there, maybe? Anyway, I enjoy this game. It's fun, it's quick, it's crazy. Oh man, I just love it. So, we're going to get into the analysis of the actual challenge in just a little bit, so see you later, everybody. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 Turtles in Time is one of those timeless games that sticks with you long after you've played it. It's one of those golden era games from the Super Nintendo days that got everything right. The gameplay, the controls, the pacing, and overall challenge and craziness of it. Everything about it was just plain awesome. It is also fun to play with a second player too, and adds a lot more to the enjoyment of the game. Now as for the challenge of no deaths, granted, I did do it on normal mode, but this is after 15 years. Of not touching this game, so I didn't want to just over-task myself right away. But normal mode, that is how I will be judging the final score, based on that difficulty setting. But I will give some ideas on how a no-death run on hard mode could be like. So, starting off, the first 3 levels are really nothing home to write about with this challenge. There is a bit of a tricky battle with Rat King, but once you nail down his pattern and how best to get between his missile barrages, he goes down easily. Now this challenge really doesn't start kicking your butt until stages 4 and 5 with the Technodrome and the prehistoric Turtlesaurus level. The Technodrome is an awful level for the sheer amount of crap you have to endure, not to mention 2 separate boss fights. Where the second boss fight is a puzzle boss of a sort which requires you to do a specific throw technique that you may not have perfected up to that point. Getting through both sections of level 4 takes extreme patience and skill and is a gratifying victory once you've earned it. Stage 5 isn't much better, but at least it's shorter and only has 1 boss. Problem is, that boss is Slash. Now, granted he's a better replacement for Cement Man, but Jiminy Christmas is he tough. Once you get him into a solid pattern of jumping, kicking him back, and landing 1 to 2 hits after each of his jumps, you can get into somewhat of a tense battle rhythm with him. Now once he starts his spinning attack, I think you can personally breathe a bit easier, knowing that you'll have more chances to hit him after he starts doing that. Now stages 6, 7, and 8, honestly, those are breezes compared, with this challenge. With the only thing worth mentioning being the yellow boomerang foot soldiers in stage 6. Holy crap. They come right after a long slog with no pizza boxes and just before your final pizza box. They can quickly end your run without even really trying. They really are that brutal of an enemy. Now stage 9 is truly the final obstacle with regards to this challenge, and the main threat of that is just the long slog through the stage. There are 2 pizza box checkpoints, and as it were, and if you can make it to each checkpoint, then you have a fighting chance. Some parts to watch out for are those with the yellow boomerang foot soldiers, hate them, anything with the rock soldiers, weapons or not, and any foot soldiers who are carrying nunchucks or axes, for they do a hefty amount of damage. Krang is anything notable to talk about if you're keeping up on his attacks and eliminating the robots he spawns quickly. Now, Super Shredder, he is a joke, even on hard mode. My tactic that I explained still stood the test of time. You just had less room to maneuver near him when he did his ice and insta-death ball attacks, but I was right in not bothering to attack him during his flame attacks. It's just not worth it. Wait for his other 2 and slash him with all your might. He'll go down fast. So with that, another challenge done successfully. Given that the major points of contention in this challenge were stages 4 and 9, with the boss of stage 5 breaking up the monotony, the majority of this game wasn't too terribly bad. I didn't get overly frustrated with the game, and I didn't have to break my challenge at any point. I was debating a good long while on how I should score it. But given that I did do the challenge on normal mode, and I did finish recording all parts in a single night, that tipped the scales in favor of giving this game a 3 out of 10. Yes, 3 out of 10. It was really that easy to complete with no deaths. Now what about hard mode? Well, I played that immediately afterwards just to see the ending, and I got a lot of deaths, and I had to save scum. Quite a bit. But the major points of difficulty still remained at all the places I pointed out above, so nothing truly changed there, just the speed, power, and types of enemies faced in different locations throughout the stages. If I had to grade the hard mode version, it'd be more like a 7 or an 8. It ramped itself up quite nicely between difficulty settings, but it isn't impossible. Made much easier when you have a friend along. So, to update the tally, we have Retro Challenge Gamer 9, Video Games 3. I'm still coming out ahead, everyone, so that's a good thing. Now, to talk about future projects, I have quite a few on the horizon that are massive LPs. One is Sakura Wars, So Long My Love, that I'm currently doing with my wife, as well as Final Fantasy VII, also with my wife. I'm also currently recording Akame, but all 3 of those games are huge, and they could take a while to edit and put together. So I am not sure if I'll be doing some small mini-games or some fan games in between to fill in the void in between these massive LPs. But either way, I hope you all will stick through the year with me and hope to hear your own self-made challenges fair compared to mine. Keep playing, everybody, and keep digging deeper with your skills. Cowabunga!